Welcome back for the second hour of the Matt Murphy Show. I'm Cameron Smith. Thank you for being with me today. I am filling in for Matt for the next couple of days because he is, I believe, at the boot camp graduation of one of his family members. And Jackson, do you have more details on that?
His nephew.
Nephew.
In Missouri.
Yeah. So awesome. Somebody he's super proud of. He's going to check that out. And you get me, which, with respect to my ideas and my devilishly good looks, it sounds like both are lacking. So I'm sorry, but we're here. Jackson will tell you I'm also an Alabama fan, which makes me worse. So,
You're rocking that beard, though, Brother Cameron.
Thank you.
Keep that going.
With 5 boys, my wife has pointed out that the gray is taking over, Ken.
That's what I'm saying, man. You need to grow it while you can.
Ooh, buddy. I mean, it is. We're now fully into salt and pepper mode. It's not like there's a little salt in there. It's like it's even. We don't know. And I actually. What is fun when you get older and you have the stress of being a parent. Because my boys and I are out all the time, I ended up with poison ivy on my hands. Okay.
Oh.
And so it was, several weeks ago, and I had blisters, right? And it was a bad kind. It wasn't fun. And I guess poison ivy is never fun, but this was blistered up and rough. And so the doctor prescribed a steroid, which one of the things that steroids do is it lowers your immune system response. And the poison ivy cleared up on my hands, but I got shingles.
On
my neck
dude.
A couple weeks ago. And, I mean, it felt like somebody's breaking glass inside my neck. It was awful, right?
Yeah.
In the sequence of events, I'm, fine with shingles now. Everything's behind me. This is what it's like being a parent of teenagers. I got something called skin writing. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Neither had I. What I can do is take my fingernail, write my name on anywhere on my body. It will basically swell up like a hive and then go away in a few minutes. And so I'm like an Etch-a-Sketch for a person right now. It is the strangest thing I have ever. It doesn't hurt. There's no and the doctor's like, well, we could give you super Benadryl, but you're going to be sleepy. And I said, well, I can't afford to be sleepy and do all the things that I do. So now I am a game at my own home because my boys and my wife find it funny to essentially draw graffiti on my body. And that's actually a thing. I am just not making that up. But yeah, man, I mean,
interesting.
The gray in the beard it's the least of the things.
Yeah, it is.
But hopefully all that other fun stuff will go away. But this is how these things work, and that's how. 1733 said I've had skin writing all of my life. I didn't even know this was a thing.
This is the first time I've ever heard of something like this.
It is crazy wild. It was cool for about a week.
Yeah, and
then I was like, this is annoying.
Right.
And so, those of you who were not that close, if you could avoid writing on me, I would appreciate it. And those of you who are related to me, please stop. So that's the thing. And now you know something exciting. Back to the 7th Congressional race. Yeah, this is dumb. This is just super. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know why we're doing it this way. And a couple of y'all have said, well, the ads are bad enough. Why do we have to talk about it? We have to talk about it because they're all treating you like you're morons. And I mean that in the most direct, offensive way possible. That they are literally treating you like you are stupid. I mean, here's what we got. The candidate statements. These are from the website. Gino Bolso is, quote, Trump's warrior for Congress. Barrett is the most conservative state rep in Tennessee history. Trump's America's quarterback, and Reeves is a running back or wide receiver who can block. Literally, that's what it says on his website. It's like, Trump's the quarterback, and I'm going to take the handoff, and I'm going to run, and I'm like this, none of this tells me anything even remotely useful. I mean, at least Reeves didn't say that he was a Tennessee kicker. I mean, you know how that goes. But they can't, at some of these debates, and some of y'all heard this, you went and you saw it, they can't even tell you where they disagree with Trump. And yes, I know this is Tennessee. This is a district that is pro-Trump. But I love my wife above all others, and I can tell you areas where we disagree. The idea that 9014 said it. So your boys have drawn, a man part on you, huh? And the answer is, if they had the opportunity while I was sleeping, they probably would. And so I locked the door. That's just how life. You got to survive. It's hard knocks in the Smith house. But all these folks keep saying this stuff. It means nothing. And then they act like, well, I'm so different and I'm the right one and I'm the best. And, even with where do you disagree with Trump? Well, I wish he would play less golf. I think Reeves said he has hair and I don't. Like, I want y'all to think about the contempt that these guys have for you. And I know several of them personally, and I'm not saying they're bad guys. I'm saying the way they're running their campaigns is treating you like you are mentally deficient and you can't see what's happening right in front of you. And I think that's a big deal. I think that's something that it is a microcosm. It's one district. I get it. Not all of y'all are in that district. I'm in the 5th. The folks in the listening audience can be in different districts. I'm not just talking about this district. I'm talking about the fact that everybody's doing this. That this is how Republicans choose the people to represent them. Is, oh, cool, you're saying some conservative-y sounding things. You're not going to tell me in any way what makes you a leader and enables you to make very difficult decisions. And, then they're all, and several of y'all have brought this up too. They're all, I shouldn't say all because some of them don't have any money, but the lead candidates, those top 4 or something, the bulk of the spending is not from here. Jody Barrett, nice enough guy. The House Freedom Fund is based in Washington, D.C. That is a fact, okay? Like, that is out-of-state money. That is not Tennessee money. It is coming in here and saying, hey, Jody Barrett's our guy. Okay, fine. Like, the House Freedom Caucus, the House Freedom Fund, like, those are conservative folks, generally speaking. But they're not Tennessee-based. So, you got those. You've got Club for Growth, David McIntosh, his crew, attacking Barrett over his school choice vote, which, guess what? Folks in Tennessee support school choice. Barrett didn't. Like, that is a policy difference. Doesn't mean he's a bad guy. It just means that's a difference. But again, it's out-of-state money. So he's absolutely right to say, hey, this is out-of-state money coming in here and spending to try to attack me. But the idea that, like, these are shadowy forces and it's you can identify me by the enemies that I have, like, what? Like, come on, folks. Y'all can see these ads. You got to know that they're treating you like a rube. And yet we keep doing it, right? We're like, well, let's go get everybody fired over the terrible things they said about Charlie Kirk. But when it comes to who represents us in Congress, we're like, well, Republicans going to win. Like, that's okay. And several of y'all are talking about Foley now and saying, hey, this Foley guy is the way to go. Said Matt interviewed him and it went great. Like, I'm fine with that. But I'm just begging you guys to pick somebody that's not playing this game of morons. And I know that I'm getting emphatic about it, and I know that it's 7670 said Tennesseans did not support school choice. Well, it's the law. It's kind of funny how that could work if they didn't. all I'm saying on the school choice thing is Barrett didn't support it. Like, that is a policy difference. It is one that I can point to. Barrett was not on board with that. If you like school choice, he's not your guy. If you don't like school choice, hey, maybe you should give him a look. Also, it's not like Congress is voting on school choice a lot. Education is something best left to the states. So he's going to be a leader. Whoever it is going to be a leader in Washington. How are they going to lead? Well, they're going to carry Trump's ball. Okay. They're going to be his warrior or something. Like, that's great, but like, what is it that you're about? What is whatever he wants? Then why do we need you? If you're just a rubber stamp, let's like write in Trump and like be done with it and say generic Republican, give Trump the vote and he can just, have somebody stand in and cast it over there. And I think, being a leader requires saying, hey, I support Trump. I love his policies, love where he is. Here's what I really care about. Here's why I want to represent you. And here's what I think where we're coming up short and where you got to do a better job. If you look at some of these campaign websites, it is the most generic stuff ever. And Jim's saying, why even vote? The truth is hidden. Well, at some point, enough people have to get ticked off by the slop that they're being served and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take a look at this Foley guy and give him a go because he's different. I can tell you down in Alabama, the options, people don't like the options that they have for United States Senate. So much so that Paul Feinbaum is thinking about getting in the race. Senator Paul Feinbaum. Now, he's been dealing with weirdos with a level head for a very long time, so he'll make a great senator. Don't get me wrong. However, that's what it takes. It takes people saying, I'm so tired of this hand-slappy, dumb stuff that I'm going to give somebody a chance, and we're all going to kind of rally around them, and they're going to lead us. Because that's what we need. And now, guess what? That person in Tennessee right now must support Trump, must try to help him in Congress. You don't have a choice because that's what people want. But the idea that you can't be like a Thomas Massey, you can never disagree with Trump. You know what? If you disagree all the time with Trump, you're not going to stay in office real long, not as a Republican. But if you can't disagree with him on anything other than his hair, that's ridiculous. Like, that just shows you're not a leader. It shows that you are so you want the job so bad that you can't even fathom a situation where you disagree. I mean, you could even say something like, hey, you know what? We really need to spend less. How about we do that? We really need to rein it in. This, Doge was good. Like, we need to codify some of these cuts, and we need to really get it under control. Okay, cool. That's a thing. But until we do that, I mean, Congress's favorability is extremely low because we don't care. And so I don't have a dog in this one. I'm not in the district, but if I was, I would be looking at some of the down ticket folks right now that don't have the ad budget and seeing, can I get one of them? Is one of them reasonable? And can we get enough people to rally around them? And we start posting on social media. We start saying, hey, this is my candidate, and here's why. Those of y'all that are telling me that this Foley guy, get on X, at D. Cameron Smith. Tell me why. I'll tell you what. You tell me who your candidate is, I'll start retweeting and saying, hey, check this out, because that's the only way that this changes. Otherwise, it's going to be outside spending, coming in, telling us who's good and who's bad, and we're not going to have a lot to go on. That's the bottom line. We got to take a break. I'm Cameron Smith. You're listening to the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7. You guys know what? Ken Weaver gets me every time. I'm wondering what it is. What are the food ingredients? What's the thing going to happen? And I can't.
Is the food going to be better?
Is it? I mean, I don't know. Sometimes the great modern inventions, I feel like they don't care anymore with some of the food. Like, if you go to the grocery and you look at the cereal aisle, we talked about this a little bit last week.
This was off air.
Yeah, it was off air. Mm-hmm. We had this good conversation that they have like candy bars as cereal now. Like,
yes,
this is Kit Kat cereal. Like, Reese's Puffs have been around for a while.
Reese's Puffs were awesome as a kid.
Yeah. But like now it's like Kit Kat, Skittles, like
Sour Patch Kids.
right. And I'm like, guys, this is just candy.
This is real cereal that we have all named real cereal here.
Right.
None of these are like hyperbole.
So, like, I mean, I guess we have innovated in the food department, but I'm not sure we're better for that.
I think Sour Patch Kids cereal, I think that's the kind of stuff that stays in your stomach for life.
Yeah, we have to draw the line somewhere. And the fact, like, Cookie Crisp, when I was a kid, was like, hey, well, this is cookies, right? And so that was pretty cool. But now we're just like, hey, we're just going to call this box sugar.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's just a box of granulated sugar.
Yes, and you just pour it in the milk and then you eat it. Like, why bother with all the other stuff? Just sugar. Let's go. So a couple of y'all has said that it is very important to be an equal opportunity offender here, and I agree with that. I think. Frankly, everyone should be offended by the ads that are being run. Some of these are from what are called dark money group, but it's basically just political groups out of state that, decide they don't like you and they want to attack you. And that's the bulk of the spending in this race. And the pro Van Epps people have attacked Jody Barrett by saying, hey, he's betraying President Trump and betraying Tennessee. Well, come on. I mean, if you've met Jody for like 2 seconds, you can argue with him about school choice or whatever. That's fine. But he pretty clearly cares about Tennessee. He is very pro-Trump. He's not, the funny thing here is that everybody that's accusing people of doing things has done it themselves. And Jody's pointed this out about the ads that are talking about his comments about Trump in the past, that the founders of some of the organizations running the ads have said some of the same thing. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, I believe it was Doc Holliday in the movie Tombstone that said, I have not yet begun to defile myself. And that was right before he launched his congressional bid, because that's where we are. Everybody's just kind of making it up, saying random things. I can tell you the guys that I know in this race, pretty good guys. Like, I like Lee Reeves. I think he's really smart. I think in many respects, that's the big disappointment for me is I know you guys, you can do better than this. Like you absolutely can. And instead they've all become what I call pander bears. They're just pandering all the time. Like, what do I think you want me to say? And I will say that thing so you will like me. Some of that you have to do because that's how you get elected. But the fact that it is completely devoid of substance is a campaign choice, and it's something that you guys should not put up with. So if it's Foley or it's these other people or even, Ken Weaver, you can vote for him. Don't put up with this stuff. And Jason makes a point. He said, I respect Jody for the fact that he voted against school choice because that's what his constituents wanted. Okay, cool. I mean, if you are a constituent and you agree with that, then hey, that's your guy right there. Like he took a hard vote in Tennessee because he thought it was what the people he represented wanted. And if you disagree with him, don't vote for him. I mean, that's the funny thing here is find somebody that you are excited to put your name next to. Okay? I mean, that's my counsel to you. That's what I try to do. I have some weird rules that I don't vote for candidates that are over the age of the American life expectancy. Mostly because I think a lot of those candidates are out of touch with what comes next, and they don't have as much of a stake in the future. The second thing is I want people who, if I put my name next to theirs, I have to tell my boys, hey, I'm voting for fill in the blank because I think they're a good leader and I think they'll do right by us. And if I can't say that statement to my sons, then I don't vote for them. There have been plenty of elections where I wrote in somebody, and I understand some folks say that's throwing away your vote. That's okay, but I think that your vote is what you choose every time. We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll get your phone calls, text line, and we'll move on from this conversation. This is the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7. Welcome back to the Matt Murphy Show. I'm Cameron Smith. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. We're talking about the 7th Congressional race and how dumb the candidates and PACs think you guys are. I want to be clear with you. I don't necessarily say write somebody in. You got a big enough field to choose from. Just choose somebody that you really like. Get to know them. I know you don't have much time. I was just searching it out. I pulled up Mason Foley's campaign website, and, you know, it's consistent with all the others. You know, it's all the kind of just general stuff. But he said he is be the first Republican member of Congress born in Gen Z. So the youth thing is there. And apparently was student body president at Clemson. So I did not know that. That's kind of neat. So, yeah, I mean, as we look through these, there's also a very brief discussion of Democrats. Absent a truly bizarre result here with one of, the candidates, there are some candidates in this field, I'm not going to name names here, that are just kind of weird. And if they win, a Democrat could have a chance because it will depress Republican turnout. It's still a math problem for Democrats, and it's really hard to overcome. The GOP in Tennessee gerrymandered the district to make sure that Republicans had an inside track to win here. It is not as much of a Republican slam dunk as some of the other seats, but it is still heavily Republican unless you end up with a weird result and a weird candidate, and then somebody like Afton Bain, Bo Mitchell, some of the Democrats, whoever emerges over there, might have a fighting chance. I just don't see it. The only other time that I've seen something like this where there is a Republican lock seat that a Democrat won was the Senate race in Alabama when Judge Roy Moore was running for that seat, and Doug Jones, who was a pretty moderate, who presented as a pretty moderate candidate, won that Senate seat and then was booted by Senator Tommy Tuberville. A bad candidate who comes out of the primary can crush you in one of these races. Mike's been super patient. He has some thoughts on the shutdown, so I'm going to get to Mike real quick. Mike, what you got?
Pretty quick. The candidate running, what is his name, Jody
Barrett.
Yeah, Jody Barrett. Is he in favor of the shutdown?
I don't know the answer to that.
And so you need to start asking tough questions. Do the people that are running call themselves conservatives? And he may be the ultimate conservative. I don't know. But what's going on today is the government is shut down. Mm-hmm. Is the Republican Party happy about this? And they should be. Because guess what? Chuck Schumer just walked into a trap.
Tell me about that.
He is afraid of AOC and all the leftists that runs the Democrat Party. And so now the OMB director, according to the Constitution, and Donald Trump has the authority not to just furlough. See, the words being thrown around now is called furlough,
right.
Layoffs, riffs. No, this is going to be firings, because in the past we had we're going to go through a 35-day shutdown, 60-day shutdown, 12-day shutdown, but they all come back with back pay.
Right.
That's the problem in government. This time around, it's going to be different.
So hang on a second. You told me that the Constitution gives OMB the authority to fire people. Where?
When the government shuts down, there's no money left. Therefore, when there's no money left, the OMB has to find ways to save money. Therefore, they have to cut to bring back the paying for the government.
But the Constitution doesn't. So I just wanted to be clear. The Constitution doesn't mention OMB at all, right?
The Constitution gives the president the authority to shut the government down if we don't have the money. Congress, Mike Johnson, John Thune, they just did it. They said, you know what?
Well, they're not funding the government because they haven't passed an appropriation to do that.
And the reason the government is shut down, there's no funding. So therefore, the OMB has the right to say, I am in charge of funding, and if I don't have funding, I can now start rifting people, not furloughing, not firing.
Sure.
Well, firing.
And I talked about this a little bit earlier. The challenge is there are the Federal Civil Service has a number of employment protections there. And that's the reason that you end up without a change in law, you end up on the furloughs, right? And this is the reason why we have statute that says, hey, you know what? If you basically shut it down and don't pay these guys, when you open it back up, you got to pay them back. There's a law there. So if you don't want to use that law, you have to repeal it. Does that make sense?
And the reason we're going to see firings and not furloughs is because the government has run out of money.
Yes.
Therefore, the OMB director then has the authority under the Constitution to say, I have to bring back spending under control. Therefore, I can choose to furlough. Well, he can choose to furlough if he wants.
But hang on, Mike. I want to clarify this because it's really important here that we're clear. Nowhere in the Constitution does it mention OMB. So that's to say the Constitution gives OMB this. Well, it doesn't. It's just not there. The OMB wasn't created until 1921. So, what you're saying, you may just not be being precise, but I want to clear that up that, yes, if they run out of money and they don't have it, they start these shutdown plans and they start shutting this down. But it doesn't change the law that's already enacted. If you want to change those federal civil service protections and things like that, you got to pass a new law, right?
But the difference is, man, I love talking to you, Cameron. The difference is that when you're out of money, you're not talking to those bureaucrats anymore or those bureaucracies because they don't have the money.
Well,
in other words, we've run out of money. Therefore, the OMB has the authority to go in and say, now we have the authority to say, that's it. You are non-essential. We have to save money. You're gone. And it's not going to be a furlough or, guess what? Take a month off on vacation and then come back and get back pay.
Hey, Mike, I appreciate it. Thank you for the call. I appreciate what you're saying. What I was trying to articulate to you is that authority that you are giving OMB doesn't actually exist. OMB can do a lot. It can make a lot of decisions, but it is in the statutory authority that OMB has as it's constituted, right? Russ Vaught's a great guy. I like Russ a lot. And so the idea that you run out of money and then you can just sort of say, well, we're not going to follow certain aspects of the law because we don't want to, and OMB can do that. Well, that's not true. That's not accurate. And we got to be real clear on this stuff, that we tell the truth even when we disagree with the left. That is the hardest thing to do because it's easy to get on the sensational train. It's easy to start running our mouths and saying, hey, here's the thing I heard. It's true. Let's go. Well, sometimes it's not exactly true or it's not very precise. Like what I was talking about earlier. We're with the stuff about health care for illegal immigrants. That's what the Democrats want, and that's what they're gunning for. Well, they want the Affordable Care Act subsidies that will keep healthcare premiums low for like 22 million Americans. And to be clear, they want to provide those subsidies again for immigrants like students with visas, refugees, asylum seekers who are here with legal authorization. That does not mean they're citizens. It doesn't mean they have a green card. It means they are here with a legally recognized status, so they're not illegal immigrants who just snuck across the border and have nothing. And so there is a little bit of a difference there. Now, I think it's completely reasonable to say, hey, if you're here on a student visa, we don't want to subsidize your health insurance. Like, that is a policy choice and eminently reasonable, but we got to tell the truth. And when we do that, it actually helps us. It makes us better because we're not playing this game of, hey, let's lie. Gary wants to tell me about Foley, and I kind of want to hear it. Well, I'll tell you what, Gary. Let me get to you on the other side of the break. We're going to take a break right now. I see Gary, I see Johnny, and we'll try to get to y'all before the end of the hour. This is the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7. Welcome back, folks. I'm Cameron Smith, filling in for Matt. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. A couple of you have asked a very good question. What is O and B? Well, BO is body odor. O and B, I don't know. What I've been saying, and it probably sounds just like O and B, is OMB, Office of Management and Budget. Okay? Office of Management Budget is within the White House and is basically the bird dog for the executive branch vision. So the Russ Vought, who runs it, it's his job to look at the executive branch and figure out, okay, what are we going to do here? How are we going to how are we going to carry out the Trump agenda across these different agencies? Primarily, the first responsibility is budget development and execution. Like, this is a big process. It's where, they're working with all the agencies to get the budget management, agency oversight. They do that. The big one that people don't really know is they coordinate and review all significant federal regulations. So we're making sure that these big dog regulations are consistent with Trump's vision and the way that he, does this. So it's a really important agency, and it is the largest sort of entity within the, White House. It's a big, big deal. So it is OMB, Office of Management and Budget. And if you're a nerd who likes regulatory reform and things like that, dig further. Otherwise, most of y'all just need to know what the acronym stands for. Gary has been patient. He wants to tell me about Foley. Tell me, Gary, what are we talking about with this guy?
Well, interesting. A couple weeks ago, knock on the door, and there's Mason Foley at my door. And it was a Saturday, it's a Tennessee-Georgia game. We're out back watching the game on the porch. So I just said, look, come on in. We're back here. And so visited with him. He's an impressive young man. I'm just going to tell you.
All right.
He knows his stuff. He's pretty much an expert on healthcare. He's connected with Turning Point. He's not telling everybody that, but he and Charlie Kirk didn't know each other. Charlie took him to Mar-a-Lago to meet with the Trump people, trying to get campus. As you mentioned earlier, he's president of Clemson,
right,
student body, so they're trying to get younger people involved, and which I think is great. I got kids close to his age, and I was impressed. I mean, he's the only candidate that's actually personally knocked on my door. I get an awful lot of hate mail from all of them, but
which is so weird. But I get it. I get it too. It's just all this like, so and so's a rhino, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But he wants to go to Congress for 2 or 3 terms and come back to Tennessee and raise a family. And I believe him. I mean, I don't think he wants to do it for the rest of his life. To be honest with you, I think he's too sharp. But he would be a fresher breath of air. I voted early. I already voted for him, so I'm done. But he came back, spent time with my family. We talked. We were smoking ribs. I got him to eat some ribs. I mean, the kids down home, down to earth. Went to high school in Williamson County. Lives in the district. I mean, let's give somebody else a chance. Is my point.
Yeah, and I don't actually think that's a bad idea. Thanks for the call, Gary. I appreciate it. I mean, and that's what I'm looking for. I mean, and Dave said, dude told this story. Yeah, well, it's important when people like somebody to say that. I mean, eating ribs with a candidate, yeah, that matters. I'll take that. We got to take a break. We'll be back. I'm Cameron Smith. This is the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7.